This isn't something I made up. It's not a horror story. I want to say that clearly because what I went through taught me how even the smallest things we share on social media can spiral completely out of control. Everything started with a single Instagram story. At the time, I was working at a bar. Night shifts. I usually got home late after work. My life was exhausting, but ordinary. There was nothing special about me. I didn't have thousands of followers. I wasn't an influencer. I was just someone who posted stories once in a while, like everyone else. That night, the bar was unusually quiet. The hours dragged on. I took out my phone and snapped a photo of the empty bar counter. Dim lights in the background, a few vacant stools. I added a simple caption to the story. Wish this night would end so I could go home. That was it. No location tag. No bar name. Nothing identifiable. About 10 minutes later, I got a message. It looks really quiet tonight. At first, I assumed it was someone related to the bar. Maybe a regular. I didn't reply, but more messages followed. It's usually more crowded at this hour. Are Wednesday nights always like this? A knot formed in my stomach. Because yes, Wednesday nights were usually slow. But how would they know that? I opened the message, but didn't respond. Not long after, the bar door opened. A man walked in. Tall. Hoodie pulled up. He came straight to the bar and sat down. He stared at me. Ordered a drink, his voice barely above a whisper. Is it always this quiet? He asked. My heart started pounding. The exact same sentence. I served the drink, avoided eye contact, and glanced at my phone. A new message from the same account had just come in. I'm right in front of you. I dropped the glass. It shattered. My manager shouted something from the back. The man was still looking at me, smiling. He stayed until the end of my shift. He didn't do anything. He didn't say much. He just sat there, watching. When he left, he placed a tip on the counter. Underneath the napkin was a note. Be careful on your way home. That was the moment I realized this wasn't flirting. This wasn't coincidence. That night, I didn't go home alone. A friend picked me up. I deleted the story, but the feeling didn't go away. The next day, there was another Instagram message. You're not working today. You had your hair tied up yesterday. It looks better down. That sentence broke me because I hadn't gone out that day. I'd only gone down to the market, and my hair was down, which meant he hadn't just seen me at work. He'd seen me near my home. I stopped posting on social media altogether, but he kept messaging. You left the market early yesterday. Your neighbor's dog barks a lot. I went to the police. I showed them the messages. There's no evidence, they said. There's no direct threat. They told me to block the account. So I did. 2 days passed in silence. Then someone knocked on my door. I didn't open it. I looked through the peephole. No one was there. On the floor, there was a small piece of paper. Blocking me won't work. That night, I packed a bag. I moved in with my mother. I changed my number. I quit my job. Months later, in a different city, I made a new account. I don't post photos anymore. But sometimes when I hear a notification sound, my chest tightens. Because I learned something. Social media doesn't make you visible. It makes you accessible. And not everyone has innocent intentions. What I'm about to tell you is something I experienced as a child, but only truly understood years later. It's real, and even now, thinking about it still makes my skin crawl. When I was little, I lived with my family in an apartment building. My parents worked, and I was often home alone. Back then, being alone didn't scare me. That changed because of something that seemed completely innocent. One of my mother's Facebook posts. That day, I was sitting on the floor in my room, playing with my toys. Before leaving the house, my mom took a photo of my room. She wanted to show the new curtains we had just bought. She posted the picture and captioned it, "Kids' room setup." Years later, when I looked at that photo again, I noticed something. My mother hadn't seen it, but I had. There was a reflection in the window, and in that reflection, a human silhouette. After my mother left the house that day, someone knocked on the door. I didn't open it. My mom had told me never to open the door for anyone. The knocking came again. Then the doorbell stopped. A while later, I heard footsteps outside the door. Then a sound like keys jingling, but the door never opened. Nothing happened that day. Years passed. The photo was forgotten until I grew up and started using social media myself. One day, a comment appeared under that old photo from a brand new account. This room looks very familiar. My mother didn't take it seriously. Probably someone from the old building, she said. But I felt uneasy. I checked the account. The profile was empty. No photos, but it had liked our pictures one by one. Even the oldest posts. It sent me a message. You were home alone that day. My heart froze. The color of the curtains has changed. The bed used to be closer to the window. Those were details you couldn't clearly see in the photo. The messages kept coming. I was surprised you didn't open the door. At that moment, the sound of the doorbell from my childhood echoed in my head. I told my mother. We deleted the photo and blocked the account. But the fear didn't go away. A week later, we found an envelope in our mailbox. Inside was a printed copy of that old photo of my childhood bedroom. On the back, there was a single sentence written, "Pay attention to reflections." From that day on, my mother never posted anything on social media again. And to this day, when I post something, I still check the background. Windows, mirrors, because sometimes a photo isn't just a memory. Sometimes it tells someone exactly where you are. The live stream never ended. This isn't something I made up. It's not a horror story. I'm saying that right away because what happened to me is the reason I still struggle to sleep at night. Some things are hard to explain, but I learned something important. Sometimes you think you've shut something off when all you really did was turn off the light. Everything started with a live stream. It was during the pandemic. I was working from home. Every day felt exactly the same. I barely saw anyone. In the evenings, when boredom set in, I would go live on Instagram. I didn't have a big audience. Maybe 20 or 30 people. Mostly familiar names. Occasionally strangers who would just watch without saying anything. That night was no different. I was home alone. The lights in the living room were dim. I was lying on the couch. Behind me was a window. The street light outside leaked through a small gap in the curtain. I started the live stream. Music was playing softly. I was talking about my day. Nothing important. Nothing personal. Then a comment appeared. Pull the curtain a little. I smiled. I thought it was a joke. Why? I asked. The reply came almost instantly. The light behind you is too strong. I turned around. They were right. The light was reflecting into the room. I pulled the curtain a bit. That should have been the end of it. But something felt wrong. I continued the live stream. The same user commented again. That's better. I paused. That's when I really noticed the username. Random letters and numbers. I tapped on the profile. No photos. No stories. Nothing. But the account had been watching since the very first second. A few moments later, another comment appeared. Doesn't it get hard being alone at home? This time, I didn't answer. Minutes passed. Viewers slowly left. The number dropped, but that account stayed. Then it wrote something that made my stomach tighten. The door on your right, does it lead to the bathroom? My heart started racing. Yes, it did. How do you know that? I typed. The response came a few seconds later. Just a guess. But it wasn't a guess. I ended the live stream immediately and put my phone down. I walked through the apartment. The doors were locked. The windows were shut. The curtains were closed. Everything looked normal, but the air felt different. Heavy, like someone had been there before me. About 10 minutes later, my phone vibrated. A DM. Why did you end the stream? I didn't reply. The messages kept coming. You usually forget to turn off the TV. When you fall asleep on the couch, your neck hurts. You sleep better when the light is on. Those weren't things anyone should know. I didn't sleep that night. The next day, I didn't post anything. No stories. No live streams. But the messages continued. Silence suits you. You got up to get water last night. My phone slipped out of my hand. Because it was true, I called a friend. They came over and stayed the night. There were 2 of us in the apartment, but I still felt alone. Like the number of people watching hadn't actually changed. Around 3 a.m., my phone buzzed again. You're not alone. My friend took the phone from my hand. Block them, they said. So I did. 2 days passed. Nothing happened. On the 3rd day, there was a black plastic bag in front of my door. Inside, it was a t-shirt identical to the one I had been wearing during the live stream. But that was impossible. My shirt was still in my closet. There was a note inside the bag. The screen doesn't show everything. I called the police. They came. They took the note. Someone is trying to scare you, they said. No cameras. No witnesses. No real evidence. Once again, I was on my own. A week later, I moved. I stopped doing live streams completely. I deleted my social media accounts. I got a new phone number, a new apartment, a new routine. Months went by. I honestly thought it was over. One night, in my new place, just as I was drifting off to sleep, my phone vibrated. The number was hidden. I didn't answer. A message came through. You forgot to turn off the light. My chest tightened because the living room light was actually on, even though I was sure I had turned it off. Another message arrived. You can see better through the gap in the curtain. I couldn't move. I was lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. I remembered closing the curtains. But suddenly, I wasn't sure of anything anymore. The phone buzzed again. Don't get up. That's when I heard it. A very soft sound inside the apartment. The sound of weight shifting, like someone changing position. Another message appeared. No camera needed. Slowly, very slowly, the handle of my bedroom door moved downward. Silently, the door creaked open just a little. My phone lit up one last time. The live stream is starting now, and that's when I understood. I had never really ended the stream. I had just misunderstood where the viewer was. Some people watch you through a screen. Others watch from inside the room.